Longo Borghini is going to come straight over the top here. Longo Borghini from Italy, Elisa. Longo Borghini, winner of the Giro d'Italia. Makes a move. Comes back over the shoulder. Can she drag them clear? Vollering and Kopecky go with her. Longo Borghini is another one of those very, very clever riders, and she knows this is where she can really do damage through this undulation. These are the next 6 kilometers or so before that descent. Maybe sense a little bit of fatigue from the other riders in that group, and this is where to really try and split this little group up. So hard. I think this is the hardest part of parkour within cycling, but there's no respite after the climb. Peterson has managed to jump across to this group now. You can see her just sat on the wheel of Kopecky. She's in the orange. You just see Anderson moving up from Sweden. Launches the attack down the left-hand side of the road. Next group on the road. Vass and Markus trying to ride their way back into the mix here. And it is the Swedish rider that is going on the attack here. Little shake of the head. 45.4 kilometers to go, but can she creep off the front here? Peterson reacts for the Netherlands.
So is Niamh Bradbury as well for Australia, as has Longo Borghini.
Impressive riding so far this season from the Swedish rider. So they came in with Stina Kajedi, Julia Borgström and Carolina Anderson. And Anderson pressing on now at the front. Great history in these championships for Sweden. Marianne Berglund back in 1983's. Susanne Ljungskog, back-to-back wins in 2002, 2003 to name but a couple. So just trying to sneak off the front here. Great attack from the Swedish rider, our chasing group. Kopecky, Markus has made it back in. Chloe Dygert in here for the USA. And Chloe Dygert, fast finish on her as well if this group did come down to a sprint. The group looking at each other, having a feed, having just getting a bottle, grabbing a gel. We see that behind. There was also almost a little resigned shake of the head there from Anderson as she attacked.
Yeah, I'm sure she was hoping that at least one other rider would join her in her quest to break away. But yeah, you can just see that under the power of Puck Peterson, this group is coming back to our lane leader, Caroline Anderson.
14th, she finished in the end in the Olympic Games road race, the 23-year-old Swede.
You can just see Lotte Kopecky again calling for the team car. She has, of course, got her teammate in this group, Justine Dygert.
This is where you've got to be very, very attentive and focused for counter-attacks when that pace just comes out somewhat and a rider's just sat behind using that gap, that slipstream.
Blanca Vass launches over the top. Rihanna Markus there as well. It looked like Anderson was a little bit happier having a companion in Justine Dygert. Look at the way Blanca Vass just corrected her line through that corner. Anderson, Dygert, what a Tour de France fan she had. Stage win and Queen of the Mountains in that race. The Belgian rider, they're all in for Lotte Kopecky. Juliette Labousse attacks. If you're with us on the TV, you're up for a short break. Make sure you come back. Juliette Labousse with 43.3 kilometres to go. Big move for France. Just running into that climb. Markus trying to keep the pressure high on the front for the Netherlands. French national road race champion Juliette Labousse. 7th in 2022, her best world championship result.
Unfortunately for her, the Dutch have still got strength in numbers, with Markus and Puck Pedersen managing to get back into this group, so it's up to them, and clear to see that they are closing every single move down from this small select group that we now have, with only 43 kilometres to go, so around 5 kilometres to go until the descent proper. Could see Kopecky just getting a few bottles from the team cars there.
Liana Lippert sat second wheel. Naomi Rook still there. But you are off for a short break if you're with us on the TV. That attack there is neutralised. Go back to Lotte Kopecky at the team car. Oh, grabs a bottle, drops the bottle. Just missed the bottle cage. It does show how cold your hands can get as well, as you were talking about a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, no stress though for Lotte Kopecky at this stage, but fueling at this stage is very, very important because it's going to be fireworks on that final climb. Markus though, off the front, a little gap. Who's going to be chasing behind? Another perfect situation for the Dutch, and this is a big gap here. It looks like, is it one of the Belgians? Is it Justine Dygert making herself across? So she's also been a very key player within this World Championships, Justine Dygert, and it just shows the strength of that Belgian squad. Danny, you said about it on the breakaway being kind of the strongest squad that they've had within a World Championships, maybe ever.
Yeah, we've seen obviously the development over the past few years of Belgian cycling. You know, they've always been a cycling nation, but really the strength and depth that we're now seeing in the Women's World Tour, and of course that will be reflected in these World Championships with the national team that Belgium are able to field in this race. You know, it's just gone from strength to strength, and you know, we've talked in past years about the Lotte Kopecky effect, but you know, it goes way, way deeper than that now. You know, we have a number of top Belgian riders performing and winning in their own right, and of course the rider that's going up the road at the moment, we've seen her in multiple attacks already today. Justine Dygert taking stage 7 of the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift, so an incredibly strong bike rider, and you know, one that has won the Mountains jersey in both the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift and in the Giro d'Italia this year. She is a very classy bike rider in her own right.
And the impact, as you said, the Lotte Kopecky effect, but Lotte wasn't at the Tour de France Femme, and Justine has said herself in interviews, the reaction to her and winning, being the first Belgian to win the polka dot jersey since Lucien van Impe, famous, you know, Belgian cyclist. The impact of her riding the Tour de France has elevated everything even more. And she's, you know, she's now making a real big name for herself back home in her own right, which is phenomenal. And you know, you base yourself in Belgium. You both raced in Belgium as well, and it's super, you know, it's so important for the further growth of women's pro cycling that Belgium has the superstars, but not just Lotte Kopecky. Magdalena Valieras here, getting back on for Canada. Elisa Longo Borghini is, I think, looking. Elisa Longo Borghini looks like she's come into this form. Looking at the way she's riding so far, she's sitting back and looks comfortable at the moment, the Italian. So we'll see how this goes and where she's going to choose her attack. 40.7 kilometres to go, 34 seconds is the gap while you're away on a commercial break. We've had Markus and Justine Dygert on the attack. They now have 36 seconds over our select group. We are on the penultimate lap here in the Elite Women's World Road Race Championship, and it has been a very attritional day. You can see absolutely savage conditions for the riders to deal with today. Rain throughout the race, torrential at times, and You would say, looking at this now with Rihanna Markus and Justine Hegger both off the front, while you look at the strength in numbers in the chasing group from the Netherlands and also with Lotte Kopecky in there, Markus and Hegger for the Belgians and the Dutch, as our next group gets back on, this scenario is also perfect for them, because in an out-and-out sprint between the two of them, it could be quite evenly matched if they manage to go all the way to the finish.
This could be a race-winning move. You can see it. Is it Marianne Vos getting back onto this group as well for the Dutch team? Another Dutch attack as well. But it could. I think they're both very evenly matched. It is Marianne Vos. She's come straight through and attacking on the front with Cassia Nuviadoma, who has also made it back into this group, and this gap has come out to nearly a minute already.
Well, it's a bit feeling putting back your title in the game. Yeah. It needs to happen, so excited, and I think, yeah, it's a really nice course, a hard course, and I just hope that at the end of the day we can get a worthy new world champion.
And do you think it's a good course for you? Maybe did you prepare specifically for it?
I think it's a course that normally should suit me, but it's really hard, and I think we can get a real battlefield at the end of the race.
Why do you think it suits you? What are the points in that course that make you think that it's good for you?
Yeah, I think I'm quite an all-round rider. I can climb, I have some bike handling skills. I'm not slow at the finish, so yeah, I think it's a course that suits me, but also it's pretty hard for me as well.
Thank you. With a lot of success.
Good to hear from Lotte Kopecky. Marianne Vos getting back on there and attacking, and this is where the no radio scenario plays out, because she'll get back on and not know that her teammates up the road.
Yeah, we saw that the chasing group made contact there. Marianne Vos went straight to the front and attacked straight over the top, and of course we keep saying in this race the riders don't have race radio, so they're not updated as to what the immediate situation in the race is. So if one of her Dutch compatriots weren't able to tell her, then yeah, she wouldn't have known that her teammate Rihanna Markus was up the road.
Although by this stage you would have thought that one of the Dutch riders in this group would have relayed the information. Marianne Vos has come backwards. This isn't Marianne Vos on the front, but they are still somewhat driving the pace, with Markus still up ahead.
Yeah, interesting to see those orange jerseys on the front, because given the victories that Rihanna Markus has had, especially in Romandy, you would look at this and say, okay, we've got a bona fide contender here. We've got a potential winner here. It's the hierarchy of whatever the plan was before. That plan has got to evolve as the race goes on.
Yeah, and this is what we keep on saying, that the Dutch can win this race based on strength and numbers if they are united in the fact that, okay, we just want to win the race, and it doesn't matter which one of us wins, it just needs to be a Dutch rider that wins. And yeah, as you say, that Rihanna Markus is a bona fide winner of this race. She could well be. We saw, you know, just a couple of weeks ago in the Tour of Romandy, she won from this exact scenario, where she was in a breakaway with Nisha Fisher-Black for the final 80 kilometres of the race and out-sprinted Fisher-Black in the final there. You can see that the riders behind seem to have sat up somewhat, as, you know, numbers behind are somewhat diminished. How many teammates does a rider have that's going to be able to start to chase? This is where the numerical advantage that the Dutch have can win them the race.
And we've seen it in the past. It's almost like the team meeting in the morning is just winning, just because they come in for so much criticism when we have this scenario. And Danny, you were in the Glasgow, I think it was the Europeans, in this exact same scenario when they had everyone was a leader.
Yeah, exactly. It's what you do and what composition that you're in, and what, you know, calls are made on the road as to who's going to win it. And I think you've got to play your cards right. What is our best chance of winning this bike race? And you'd say the most likely rider at the finish would be Marianne Vos, but Rihanna Markus has got a really good chance here. Misha Bredevald is pushing the pace. I did wonder why they're on the front, and it was probably because of the positioning on this descent. But she's not just positioning herself here, she's drilling it on the front, using these little inclines to, you know, push the pace, not just hold in position.
Yeah, got to know what the Pop Peterson's going to attack. So looking around this group, a lot of Dutch riders in there. The rest of the riders in this group have got to, I mean, you tactically in your head here, thinking, okay, how are we going to play it? How do we capitalise on the way they're riding this one at the moment? This is Sarah Gigante with Nee Fisher-Black just in front of her. Pop Peterson driving on, so clearly this is not the plan of the Netherlands. 25 seconds from their teammate Rihanna Markus and Belgium Justine Gere. The rest of this group must be just rubbing their hands together with glee here at the moment.
I mean, I don't really understand why they would be pushing on at this stage, because Rihanna Markus is a very, very strong rider who I would say would have the upper hand over Justine Gere in the finish. So why not sit back, give her chance, wait till the climb, and then, yeah, okay, maybe do something there, but not at this stage.
Yeah, they've got strength in numbers. There's not really, the rest of the teams are going to have to, the rest of the nations are going to have to combine. There's going to be a lot of chat that needs to go on. So it's actually a great scenario for them. The Netherlands and Belgium, one of the biggest sporting rivalries in sport, especially in cycling. As we go back to the helicopter shot of the group, the Netherlands drop back as Elise Chabet here of Switzerland attacks Demi Vollering right on the wheel. Lotte Kopecky, defending champion in that light blue jersey, third wheel for Belgium. Elisa Longo Borghini is up here, that red helmet, red and black helmet you can see towards the front. Liana Lippert still for Germany. 18 seconds the gap.
Massive gear for Elise Chabet then with that effort. This is the descent proper. So we know what a descender Elise Chabet is, so she wants to try and use the descent to close this gap down. 18 seconds. Still close. I think it will come down now under that descending prowess of Elise Chabet here. Although these two riders on the left-hand side, pretty good. Rihanna Markus I spent in a team with in 2018. Very, very good descender is Markus. Justine just giving herself a little bit of room to take these corners safely too.
And as on a descent, it's worth pointing that out for anyone that's looking at this. Sometimes as on a descent, especially a wet descent, it's giving yourself that little bit of run room, a little bit of, you lay off. You don't want to sit right on the wheel.
Yeah, obviously the braking capacity is somewhat reduced, and yeah, of course the road becomes a lot more slippery in the wet. You have all the spray that's coming off of the road as well, so yeah, riders often just give a little bit more room on the wet descents.
Rihanna Markus just throwing on the anchors into that corner, will sprint out of that. We've seen it in the breakaways in all of her victories, Rihanna Markus. Really strong descender. We go back to the bunch. Elise Chabet on the front here for Switzerland. She was one of the riders of Glasgow though last year, that long solo break for the Swiss rider.
Yeah, unfortunately she was chased down by her own teammate in the Swiss national team, Marlon Rosa, chasing down Elise Chabet when she was in probably a race winning position, as you say, one of the riders of the race in the Glasgow World Championships. Of course, here in the home worlds, the Swiss team will be really motivated today.
They will indeed. If you, we said throughout, and Naomi Rook intimated onto it in her pre-race interview as well. The Swiss team here motivated after the tragic passing of their 18-year-old teammate Muriel Farah after the crash, the injury sustained in the crash in the junior women's road race. The race taking place today with the blessing of Muriel's family, and the Swiss riders almost super motivated, as all the riders would be. A tragic loss of a young, bright, shining light of the women's pro peloton, and to see the way they've ridden today. They've been in the breakaways with Carolina Bauer early on in the day, Naomi Rook, and both Elise Chabet still in contention to take this elite women's road race title. Just 9 seconds they're giving us as a gap. The peloton about to come around that corner. Gere just looks back over the shoulder.
This is going to be an epic final. They crossed the line with 26.9 kilometres to go, and then there are going to be major fireworks on this final climb.
Justine as well for riders and looking at the patterns of coming into racing, and her story as well for anyone that wasn't with us during Tour de France. Former personal trainer, came in during the pandemic again, raced a bit when she was younger, that group behind.
Yeah, it looked like Marianne Vos on the left-hand side of the road. Yeah, it was Marianne Vos with her acceleration, trying to bridge across to this front group, become maybe that satellite rider, because we saw her being distanced on that climb on the previous lap. So she wants to get ahead of the race. We know how dangerous she would be if she came into the finish.
The group trying to come across. So we've got in the background an Aussie jersey, the Aussie colours trying to come across. Marianne Vos, if she comes across, she can't bring anyone with her, and that is what she is now doing. Is that Ruby Roseman Gannon trying to come with her? So Australia trying to come here with come across the gap with Marianne Vos, and acceleration there of the Aussie. There's the gap. So if you're going to come across the gap, don't bring anyone with you. That just shows, look at the size of that group in terms of how many riders we've got. Like Danbro's count.
Yeah, I was trying to count them there, but yeah, it is 15 riders. This is exactly what we expected on a course like this. Super selective.
Yeah, looking for that helicopter shot. Chloe Dygert, Anna Henderson, Elisa Longo Borghini, Carolina Anderson, still there.
Chloe Dygert's having a great race, isn't she? The American rider. She was 4th in the World Championships in 2019. In Yorkshire, where she won the time trial. So great to see her with very good form coming into the back end of the season.
The difference today with Chloe Dygert is how quiet she's been. Normally we see the rider here wearing number 10, Stars and Stripes jersey, pink shoes. Normally we see her up at the front being really animated. She's just followed today, and this is what she needed to do. Really sensible, really mature kind of riding today. Still got a couple of riders in there, so from Canada. So from the front, Breakaway, Vollering, Lippert, Nubia Doma, Valieras, Peterson, Kopecky, Labuse, Bradbury, Longo Borghini at the bottom of your picture with the red helmet, Carolina Anderson here of Sweden, Elise Chabet on your left, Blanca Vass on your right there in the red of Hungary, Chloe Dygert wearing number 10 there. They've got Antonia Niedermeyer of Germany, another one of our under-23s, and then Anna Henderson on the back. That pretty much looks like the complement of the group. So good battle for the under-23 race within that second group. Rihanna Markus, Justina Kreda, Ruby Roseman Gannon, and Marianne Vos is your front group.
I just really sense the calm before the storm here. You can see a lot of the riders taking on that last bit of energy. Rihanna Markus taking a gel, and we saw that in that select group behind too, because they will be anticipating this final climb. We know the attacks are going to come. They're going to come from Demi Vollering specifically. Will Lotte Kopecky be able to hang on? Who else will be there over the top of that climb and set this up for what's been a fascinating World Championship road race?
Fourth crossing the line with 26.9 kilometres to go, and then we have one more loop of this tough Zurich circuit. Rihanna Markus, Marianne Vos, Justina Kreda, and Ruby Roseman Gannon. 20 seconds now is their advantage. They're heading back towards Zurich. If you're with us on the TV, you're off for your final commercial break. Make sure you come back. This is going to be an absolute thriller. You would kind of, I would love to be inside the head of Rihanna Markus right now when Marianne Vos got on there. Because she's one of those riders that, as we've said, it's giving that rider that opportunity, and we know it's going to kick off big time as we go through up the Zurichbergstrasse the next time. But if they'd let them get a minute plus, there was definitely an opportunity there. So there's definitely been the book of tactics, and then the Dutch Championship tactic page.
But it's also clever riding, I think, from Marianne Vos to get ahead of the race on the climb, because we did see both of the riders, Rihanna Markus and Marianne Vos, struggling on that climb. So if she can get ahead of the game, especially over that first steep section, that first 1 kilometre of the climb, where it will be the hardest part of that climb for the likes of Marianne Vos and Markus, who got themselves back into that front group. I mean, you would never bet against Voss in a final.
Yeah, but I mean, by Voss going across to that group, and of course now it is the Netherlands that's on the front of the bunch, chasing down the 2 riders in the front group. Yeah, excuse us while we gather our thoughts. The gap is now 4 seconds. But I mean, if they had allowed that group to go out with Rihanna, Markus and Marty is getting incredibly excited and animated here because we're seeing the home of chocolate. Going back to the bike race, Marty, so if they had allowed Rihanna, Markus and Justine Kikira to continue on, Justine Kikira is being the perfect teammate there for Lotte Kopecky, only sitting on the wheel. So she will have sat on the wheel for the best part of, if they had allowed them to go to the finish, what was it, 45 kilometres, something like that. And yeah, I mean, we know how strong Rihanna Markus is, but then there would have been question marks, I guess, as to, we haven't seen a head-to-head sprint between these 2 types of riders, and it could well have been that, yes, Rihanna Markus could have pulled Justine Kikira all the way to the line, and it would have been a very different Belgian that could have taken the world title than what everyone was perhaps expecting. But expect the unexpected when there is a very strong Dutch team in this race, let's put it that way.
The sensible riding comes from Ruby Roseman-Gannon as well, because you look at Ruby in this race and she's another rider that has just been there and thereabouts where she needed to be. And if she can get herself over these climbs and come into the finish, if we go back to the final stage of Tour of Britain, Roseman-Gannon's she has got a gallop on her, especially. And we always say a race like this that's so tough technically, 2,384 metres of elevation, add in the rain, add in the temperature, the conditions, it's a real leveller in terms of, you know, who's got the legs at the end. 28.1 kilometres to go here in the Elite Women's Road Race at the UCI Road and Paracycling Road World Championships here in Zurich. Your 4-rider leading group as we go through the Flamme Rouge. That will be 1 kilometre to go in a lap's time. We're heading back to the finish. We're going to get the bell this time. Marianne Vos on the front. 255 road victories. 3 times road world champion, 8 times cyclocross world champion. Marianne Vos, can she take this one for the Netherlands? Teammate Rihanna Markus is with her. Ruby Roseman-Gannon from Australia. Justine Kikira on the back here for Belgium. Justine looks like she's struggling a little bit here, looking for some food in the pocket if she can get it out of the skin suit, which is sometimes easier said than done when you've got a gilet on.
And this can be a major factor. Like, if you physically can't get to your pockets easily, you end up missing a huge amount of feeds in terms of, you know, how much carbohydrate the riders should be taking in per hour. They will all know that, but if they can't physically get to their pockets, it just makes it impossible. You can see now that she's like shaking out her hands as well. She's obviously feeling really cold. You can see from her facial expressions that she's obviously struggling. She's done an incredible ride so far. We've seen her in multiple breakaways. But let's not forget, we saw her like this in the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift, didn't we? Was it stage 6? She was in that big breakaway before taking the win on stage 7. And in that time, it was like, call an ambulance, but not for me! It was brilliant, that clip of Justine Kikira. But yeah, she's done an incredible ride so far, obviously in the service of the defending champion, Lotte Kopecky. But yeah, this race is about to kick off.
So Justine Kikira, we saw her taking off her gloves as well. Sometimes that can be, if your gloves are really wet, and sometimes it can make your hands colder. Sarah Gigante on the front, doesn't need to be for Australia. Her teammate Ruby Roseman-Gannon up the front. Elise Chabet just trying to get some life back into her hands. So as we go through 1 lap to go for the chasing group, the team of France, Evita Music, has got back in here. She has herself and Juliette Labuse in there for France. So the medalists, there's a good battle, there's a good group going on here for the U23 title. Ava Holmgren there in the red and white of Canada. serious contender for that U23 title, along with Antonia Niedermeyer and Neve Bradbury. So they're going to be looking for each other if they're sprinting it out from the group. We're going to head up the Zurichbergstrasse for the final time. The anticipation of the attacks that we are expecting to come now on this climb. Right turn, and then we expect it to all kick off.
It will all kick off, and I'm nervous, and I don't even know who I want to win, but a minute is a very, very good gap, and I don't expect these 4 riders to stay away until the top of the climb, but it's given them a very, very good chance over this first part of the climb, which is the steepest, because it's only just over 1 kilometre in length, but it is the hardest part to be able to follow because of the severity of the gradient. So if they can get themselves over the top, which does top out at around 24 kilometres to go, and then maybe take a little bit of respite before that long part of the climb, it gives these faster finishers, the likes of Marianne Vos, Ruby Roseman Gannon, who we've already talked about, a very good chance of hanging on until the final.
But if the rest of this race is anything to go by, it will be the Dutch that attack on that part, won't it? So probably we'll see Demi go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Minute and 1. Marianne Vos and Ruby Roseman Gannon, you would say the 2 fastest finishers out of that front group. Eva Holmgren on the back. This is an outstanding ride from Eva Holmgren. Of course, raced with the little Trek team. Her sister Isabella, the 2 of them making great inroads in the world that get multidiscipline riders. But this is probably the strongest ride I think I've seen on the road, especially in this company from Eva.
Yeah, she had a really strong race in the Tour de l'Avenir just a few weeks back, and yeah, a rider that we obviously see excelling on the mountain bike. I'm impressed that you didn't put that reference in there, Marty. Well done for holding your tongue.
Good cyclocross ride.
Oh, is she? Okay, yeah, good. But yeah, she is an incredibly talented rider, and one that we will see more and more of in the upcoming years. But yeah, just to be in this position in the elite race in the Women's Road Race Championship is very impressive.
The road goes up. Rihanna Markus finds that rhythm, finds that tempo. She's really found her form as the season's gone on. I think that win in Romandy was super important for her. She'd had national time trial title this year as well. Had gone into big stage races as the sort of GC contender, and it just didn't happen for her.
No, sometimes it doesn't, but as you said, Marty, I think that stage win in Tour of Romandy would have given her the confidence that she needed coming into this World Championship. She's leaving the Visma Lisa bike team. She signed a contract with the little Trek team, and rumours are that Elisa Longo is also leaving, so she will become, I think, that real GC leader within that squad. So really good to see her really excelling on today's course.
Minute and 2, 24.4 kilometres to go. The road rises. Sarah Gigante just on the back of the group here for Australia. Driving on here, we're waiting for those attacks to come on the Zurichbergstrasse. Where is this world title going? We have 4 strong riders at the head of the race. 2 from the Netherlands, Rihanna Markus and Marianne Vos. Justine Herrera of Belgium, the winner of the Queen of the Mountains in the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. Ruby Roseman Gannon from Australia, 17.2% roared on by huge crowds here at the side of the road in Zurich. Markus out of the saddle, such a measured rider in terms of the technique and the power of Rihanna Markus has come into the back end of this season on incredible form. Ruby Roseman Gannon doing one of the rides of her career here. The Aussie, they're holding 1 minute and 5 with between her and Marianne Vos. They're the 2 fastest finishers. in this race. We go back to the group behind. Naomi Rook coming through in the red and white of Switzerland. Carolina Anderson from Sweden on the left of the group as you look at them. Still in this group, Chloe Dygert from the USA, Misha Bredevol, Pop Peterser, Elisa Longo Borghini, Davy Vollering, Cassia Nivia Doma, Juliette Labus, Sarah Gigante, Henderson, Niedermeyer, Holmgren, Valieras, Vass, Ziga and Anderson. We've mentioned her. There's Magdalena Valieras, you can see out of the saddle for Canada, has had a great season as well, has the Canadian, but look at the crowds along the side. Joanna's joined us back in the commentary box. She's going to help take us to the finish.
I'm back. And what's really interesting here, looking at this gap, already we've lost more than 10 seconds on this climb. And now seeing 44 with that graphic. That has come down rapidly. We'll have to check if that's actually correct. But of course, with that group on this climb and this narrow road, they'll be naturally fighting for positions, naturally trying to get themselves to the front. And of course, the pace will naturally up with that movement in the group.
Good bar, good DJ that they've got on at the side, so great atmosphere. We go back to the group, and Elise Chabet, unfortunately, just getting distanced off the back of the group, just ahead of her, Anna Henderson.
We can also see Cassia Nuvia Doma being distanced again. We saw her being dropped on the climb on the previous lap. So the Polish rider struggling again. This has been a relentless course. But for these 4 riders, as we mentioned earlier, Marty, they've got themselves over the steepest part of the climb. So for Marianne Vos and the Dutch team, this is looking very, very good. We did anticipate potentially Demi Vollering attacking, but she's not done that. So maybe they've changed their tactic now with Marianne Vos being able to bridge over this group and give herself that sliding room, being that satellite rider as well, potentially being up the road.
David Holmgren here to try and keep in a good position for a medal potentially in the under-23 category. Remember, we've got a race within a race here in these World Championships. Holmgren just keeping that rhythm. Anna Henderson just a couple of riders ahead of her. We haven't seen the front of this group on the climb. Ada Holmgren just got to dig in here for Canada. Back to Rihanna Markus. The form that Rihanna Markus has hit on the back end of this season is really interesting. She's got that metronomic style, as I would describe it. Looks very cool, very calm, very comfortable. Vos drives through to the front. The Dutch tactics have to change because you don't chase Marianne Vos. You've got to leave it up to everybody else here in this one. You've got a race winner. You've got 2 potential race winners up here.
Well, this is really fascinating, this group at the front here. The time gap that we've seen on the screen that has changed quite a bit in the last few moments. I think there's maybe the GPS not quite accurate. We're now back over a minute. Interesting seeing how hard Vos is working here. It was Rihanna Markus doing the majority of the work a few moments ago. But Vos also clearly really driving this group. And, you know, that means if you're one of the other riders here, not quite so much onus on you to be driving so much with these 2 Dutch riders here. But we know how fast Vos is. She's won this title 3 times before. Medalist on so many occasions as well. Clearly one of the most consistent riders at World Championship level ever. And here she is with 22k to go in the front breakaway of 4 riders now.
If you're Marianne Vos, though, given the position that she was in the Olympic Games road race with Blanca Vass, is that in the back of your mind here? Hence why you're seeing her digging in and really sort of firing at the front. She wants to come out of this season with a rainbow jersey.
Yeah, I mean, evergreen Marianne Vos, isn't she? It's just incredible when you think that she is racing in her 17th Road World Championships. It's just beyond belief. We talked about earlier how difficult it is to even make the Dutch squad for any championships. She's only missed 2 World Championships in the last 17 years. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You know, winning in her first year as an elite off the back of 2 World Junior titles, and then finishing in 2nd place for the next 5 years, and then winning it the next 2. It's just, yeah, it's why we call her the GOAT, isn't it? It's just unbelievable.
It's interesting how much the sport has changed over that time as well. If you look back to 2006 and, you know, how much more professional the women's side of the sport is, how many more riders are full-time riders, how much more TV coverage we get now, it just is absolutely worlds apart. And still now here in 2024, she's in this lead group of 4 riders with just over 20k to go to the finish, and in a sport that in that time has completely transformed in terms of, you know, for so many reasons, but, you know, notably the strength and depth that, you know, across the board in the peloton.
You look at this group though, and as we talked about Belgium, and we talked about the way the way Justine Verkeerde has made a name for herself this season, and has been one of the real revelations of the last few years, really, and she's really come into her own this year. But what a position for her now to be in. How does she play this now tactically, given what we've seen from her? She's got her polka dot glasses on. You know, would you say that Justine, if this group comes to those later climbs, she's going to have to try and get away?
I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Justine Verkeerde. Of course, having 2 Dutch riders in the front group there, the emphasis is on them. They are the ones that are doing all of the work. Of course, we were talking about how fast Marianne Vos is in the finish, but Ruby Roseman Gannon is in a very charmed position. You know, she is an incredibly fast finisher as the Australian national road and crit champion. We've seen her stealing victories already this season. I'm thinking back to the final stage of the Tour of Britain, where she sneaked that win on the line, but as we say, a very fast finisher in her own right, and she at the moment is getting a free ride to the finish. However, Liane Lippert here from Germany sat on the front on this longer climb. The gap now coming down to 35 seconds.
We go back to our chasers. Vollering, Longo Borghini, Kopecky, Chloe Dygert. Looking around the group. Liane Lippert it is that's on the front, the German rider that is making the difference in bringing this gap down for Kopecky. She's got teammate Verkeerde just ahead of her, but Liane Lippert, the German rider that we said right at the start of the day could be the rider to watch. And now for Demi Vollering, great position to be in. She can just sit here now and try and get dragged up to that group ahead of them.
Yeah, Liane Lippert going on the attack again. We hadn't seen quite how this group was formed, so imagine that Liane Lippert has been doing a lot of damage here to this chase group. It is a very select group that we have here now.
35 seconds, they can see them. Liane Lippert of Germany swings over, looks across at Elisa Longo Borghini. She should get some help from both Longo Borghini and Chloe Dygert for Demi Vollering and Lotte Kopecky. They can just sit here. They've got teammates up the road for Demi Vollering. She has Rihanna Markus and Marianne Vos in this leading group. For Kopecky, she has Justine Verkeerde here. The rider sat second wheel. And then you've got to say, a career ride in a World Championship here from Ruby Roseman Gannon from Australia. A helicopter will just pan back and we will pick up those chasers just behind us. So there they are, just at the bottom of your picture. So the who's who, we would say, in these championships, all coming through towards the front. The helicopter will just have a look back. We'll just try and pick up that next group on the road. There they are, just right at the bottom of your picture. Liane Lippert looks like she's having another go. Longo Borghini lining up for an attack here.
Yeah, ominous there, seeing her at the back of this group, just out the saddle. Still looking very much in control, though. And, of course, in this position at the back, she can see exactly what's going on. Nobody's going to take her by surprise. Oh, there was a look there between Kopecky and Vollering, but here goes the move.
Elisa Longo Borghini, that was that little tell. We know when Longo Borghini's lining up for an attack, and this is it. Elisa Longo Borghini of Italy out of the saddle, and Demi Vollering is the rider that reacts. Liane Lippert trying to get onto the wheel here of Demi Vollering. Kopecky and Dygert, few meters lost, but Elisa Longo Borghini 6 times in the top 10 in a world championship, 2 times a bronze medalist, never the rainbow jersey for Elisa Longo Borghini, the Italian in that blue jersey, powering across this gap now up to the group, and with her is coming Dami Vollering.
This is the first time as well that we've seen Lotte Kopecky just struggle to hold the wheel there. Dami Vollering is just coming through here now to close the gap for Longo Borghini. Are they going to go straight past? It looks like they are.
They were going to go straight past it. I was just to say, Longo Borghini and Vollering hadn't attacked. I think that Elisa Longo Borghini would have made a move. Liane Lippert trying to get on terms here from Germany. Marianne Vos is digging in deep. We know when Marianne Vos is kind of pushing it a little bit, the elbows drop, your head goes side to side, gritting the teeth. Can't quite hold the wheel there. Marianne Vos under the pressure. Teammate just had to take a big deep breath.
But look at the gap back to Lotte Kopecky, Chloe Dygert, just at the bottom of the screen there. As that attack from Longo Borghini went, I was just wondering whether Lotte was playing it kind of cool and just gradually closing the gap, but she clearly doesn't have the legs today to be able to do that. Liane Lippert into this group, bringing Rihanna Markus with her again.
So Liane Lippert, look at the effort that the German rider is having to make to get into this group. Dami Vollering straight back through to the front. It's Vollering, Longo Borghini, Roseman Gannon, Hakira now flying the flag for Belgium. Liane Lippert from Germany, Marianne Vos and Rihanna Markus trying to stay with the group and give the Netherlands 3 riders in this front group. You can see Elisa Longo Borghini, the pink computer, the winner of the Giro d'Italia this year. Lotte Kopecky and Chloe Dygert in the background will try and get themselves back in here for this group. They've got 2 fast finishers, you would say, in this one, in Ruby Rosengan, Marianne Vos. But coming to the end of a race, a day like this, as we always say, it's such a leveller. We know what Longo Borghini can do at the end of a tough race. Dami Vollering, come the end of it, she's got a sprint on her anyway, as has Elisa Longo Borghini. So the scenario, given how tough this day has been, it's anyone's race here.
It is, and this is going to be absolutely fascinating if these riders come to the line together. You can just see in the background the power of Chloe Dygert, 3rd in the recent time trial, just bringing Lotte Kopecky back. Dami Vollering has noticed the danger there, really laying down the power on this final part of the climb here.
You can see the effort, the pain etched on the face of Justina Herrera. Chloe Dygert, can she ride herself and Lotte Kopecky back on here for Kopecky? She's going to play that team card, even though that we think it looks like Justine is right on the limit ahead of her.
It certainly does, but she has, of course, got a teammate there, so she does get back up there. That could be really crucial for her. But at the moment, wisely so, using the time trial world championship medalist, former time trial world champion Chloe Dygert, to do that work while she can, while she's still got her there. They are going to work together, it looks like, but Dami Vollering well aware of the threat and clearly does not want Lotte Kopecky to get back on here.
Dami Vollering driving at the front. They select group Ruby Roseman Gannon. Huge shake of the head there from the Aussie. There's your group. Hakira from Belgium, Vollering, Vos from the Netherlands, Longo Borghini from Italy, and Roseman Gannon from Australia, along with Liane Lippert of Germany. Final lap here if you're tuning in for the first time today in the Elite Women's World Road Race Championship here in Zurich, and it has been a tough day. Liane Lippert gets rid of the rain jacket, ready for the fight that she knows is coming on this final lap. Your chasers, defending champion Lotte Kopecky in the light blue of Belgium, Chloe Dygert in the Stars and Stripes of the USA, and on the back, Rihanna Markus. It has been a tough ride today and a big day out for the rider from the Netherlands. Our front group, swing right here. Dami Vollering really driving on constantly. It's a small gap. Dami Vollering as well, you can almost feel that nervousness, and she does not want Lotte Kopecky to get back into the mix here.
Well, Vollering knows what good form she's in. We've seen that from the time trial. She knows this is a huge opportunity for her to get a rainbow jersey. And look at the frustration here. She's desperate for the group to work together. She does have a teammate in Marianne Vos who is working her way towards the front now. We saw that very clear shake of the head from Ruby Roseman Gannon before. And it's still not far back to the duo of Kopecky and Chloe Dygert. You can absolutely never discount those two riders.
Elisa Longo Borghini, look at the power of the Italian here. And it has been a brutal day with the climbing, the short, sharp, punchy climbs that just beat your legs up. And you can see Elisa Longo Borghini is putting Marianne Vos in a world of pain and suffering with this effort. She's going to persist. Vos looks around, Roseman Gannon looks around, and Elisa Longo Borghini makes a move. And it's up to Demi Vollering to close the gap to the Italian, who's looking on sensational form here today.
Markus here, clearly job done for the day. Still just not far off the group of Kopecky and Dygert. As we see that though, Dygert drawing out a gap over defending champion Lotte Kopecky. That's big news.
It is. So Chloe Dygert leaving Lotte Kopecky.
You can see Marianne Vos has completely dropped from this group here. So we are down to 5 riders. Justine Kikira just hanging on the back of this group after a huge day out for the Belgian rider. Liana Lippert still looking cool. And the German in second wheel there, behind Demi Vollering, just setting the pace.
Liana Lippert looking strong for Germany. So the last German winner we had was Regina Schleicher in 2005, Judith Arndt in 2004. Of course, our last Italian winner was Elisa Balsamo in 2021. Belgium last year, Lotte Kopecky. Netherlands with Annemiek van Vleuten in 2022. There has never been an Australian winner of the elite women's road race. I'm just going back through the history of this race. We've had medalists: Amanda Spratt, Katrin Garford, Rachel Neelan, but going back, Anna Millwood, so many more as medalists, but we haven't had an Aussie champion through the history of the elite women's championship. Dygert solo, can she get on? The determination of Chloe Dygert, our leading group. Ruby Roseman Gannon, shake of the head. Just having a word there with Demi Vollering. Ruby Roseman Gannon was in that breakaway, and we can call her a sprinter. Got to play the game, haven't you? If you're Ruby Roseman Gannon, you'd look around this group and think, I can out-sprint this group. So I've been in the group, my legs are hurting, keep riding.
It's looking very good for Ruby Roseman Gannon at the moment. I do expect there to be more attacks that come from this group. You can see Demi Vollering really trying to encourage everyone to come through and work. Ruby Roseman Gannon just shaking the head.
But we see Demi when she's like this, it's a real heightened level of sort of frustration, the anxiety, everything comes out when on days like this, especially when everyone's not quite riding the way they did. Chloe Dygert is really digging in here for the USA. Can Chloe Dygert get back on here for the USA? And will if she gets back on here, what's the tactic? Go straight past? That was sort of, we would say, would be the Chloe Dygert kind of tactic going on here.
It looks like Chloe Dygert will get back into our leading group.
And Chloe in a sprint out of this group as well will fancy her chances of getting back in here.
Yeah, the question will be how much time has she got to recover, because this is a big effort here to get her way back to this group solo. But just as we look ahead, you can see there's a little bit of a lack of cohesion briefly. Of course, we're on a slight downhill section here, so Chloe Dygert just about to make the junction. We now have 6 riders at the front. Demi Vollering now clearly in that orange jersey of the Netherlands, and this is the only point in the race where she's been really isolated without any teammates. Incredibly strong squad so far, but now completely on her own.
So interestingly, 1980, the last American winner, Beth Hayden. If we go back through, Audrey McElmurray in 1969 for the USA. Lotte Kopecky about to get back on as well with Rihanna Markus.
Well, this is all change. I thought Lotte Kopecky was gone, you know, seeing her body language, seeing Chloe Dygert ride away from her, but this, wow, all changed now.
Just getting pushed to the bit of flooding here with the rain, the constant rain that we've had throughout the day. Lotte Kopecky and Marianne Vos get back in. This race changes again. It's an absolute thriller. What a treat this race has been today, and we are going to have a worthy world champion at the end of this one today. 13.7 kilometres to go. Your group: Lotte Kopecky, Justine Geerder from Belgium, Chloe Dygert from the USA, Demi Vollering and Marianne Vos from the Netherlands, Elisa Longo Borghini from Italy, Ruby Roseman-Gannon of Australia, and Liana Lippert from Germany. That is the makeup of the group. And you would look at this group and on paper you'd say Marianne Vos, Lotte Kopecky, the fastest finishers, but after 154.1 kilometres, 2,384 metres of elevation, the rain, the cold, the brutal conditions that they've ridden through, could be anyone's.
Yeah, Rihanna Markus as well, coming back into contention, and I was just about to say, if they keep up this speed, then half the bunch are going to come back here, but Rihanna Markus is going to go straight over the top. Just wait for the riders to go over to one side of the road and launch an attack up the other side.
Longo Borghini laying off, lining one up. We've got some little short, all these short, sharp little climbs. I think Elisa Longo Borghini will feel that she's got the measure of a lot of this group, given how much hurt she was putting on those, the Zurichbergstrasse, for example.
Visually, she's looked really strong to me, really within herself. She's been dictating the race, she's been attacking, she's been driving the move, and as you just mentioned, seeing her at the back is really interesting. We know she likes to attack from the back, keep an eye on everything that's going on. And I do take back everything I said about Demi Vollering being isolated, because of course the situation has completely changed out there on the road. And this is the importance and the decision making out there during the race. You know, 1 minute you think, right, okay, this is the group, am I the fastest finisher out of this? Now we've got a very different situation with Kopecky and Vos back on here.
We have indeed. So this is where we are on the course. You can see the little sort of shark's teeth along the top of that plateau, just rises and falls constantly. Then that short, sharp descent. Demi Vollering just having a word here with Rihanna Markus, who's going to come through to the front, make a little move there off the front for Rihanna Markus. Interesting what Demi Vollering might have said to Rihanna Markus as she went past there.
But also interesting for Longo Borghini here, absolutely no onus on her to be doing the driving of this group at all. Now with 3 Dutch riders and 2 Belgian riders, really has completely changed for the other riders here now. No need to contribute. You know, we saw Ruby Roseman-Gannon shaking her head when being asked to come through before, but now you can see on the screen there, 3 Dutch riders, 2 Belgian riders. Actually no need for anyone else to do any work. Just as I say that, a tiny split, but looks like we're going to come back together after that corner.
Yeah, you would look at this if you're any of this group and say to Lotte Kopecky, you need to put Justine on the front, and for the Netherlands, they need to decide who they're riding for.
Yeah, we're coming up to that point where we're just going down this small little descent. We cross over the bridge and that little kick up that we will see in around 500 metres time.
Demi Vollering, mind you, just see Vollering moving up onto the wheel of Elisa Longo Borghini. She will sense that. When we rolled out in the first lap, we said this next climb is a one that could be decisive come the back end of this race.
Yeah, we've got, is that just little punchy climb that we've got where we see the riders bring so much speed into it.
Will anyone make a move? Demi Vollering has latched herself onto the wheel of Elisa Longo Borghini. 3 riders from the back of the group. Longo Borghini in that blue of Italy with the red helmet. Demi Vollering in the orange towards the back. Then Justine Geerder from Belgium right on the back of the group. What a ride yet again from the Belgian today. Rihanna Markus on the front. Lotte Kopecky takes a big glance back over the shoulder just to see who is where. Right turn here, steep little descent then through and up that climb.
Is this going to be a Lippert attack?
You would sense something. If any of this group are not 100% confident in taking this to a sprint finish, then this is the time to go. Across the bridge, the road kicks up. Kopecky, will Lotte Kopecky make a move here? Liane Lippert's lining one up in the white of Germany. Liane Lippert on the right. Lotte Kopecky just moves across, almost just shuts the door down a little bit as that road just rounded there to the right. Liane Lippert looking strong in the white there of Germany. No moves yet on this climb. Chloe Dygert really revving towards the back, almost looking like she's trying to spin the legs out towards the back of the group.
Yeah, and that can be a tactic you can use at this point in the race. You know, we've had a lot of climbing, we have got a couple more kicks here before the real fast finish. You know, the last 3K being very much flat and relatively straightforward, but clearly here Chloe Dygert taking the opportunity to ease off the gears, back of the group. No need for her to be doing any work whatsoever. You know, up ahead of her there is going to be this Dutch versus Belgian battle, which she can happily sit and sort of wait for it to unfold. She knows how strong she is because she closed that gap solo. She closed that gap before the other riders set up. So clearly an excellent form, just biding her time at the back now.
Next rise, this goes left and bends and sweeps round to the right. Will anyone make a move here? We start to climb yet again. We've got a Dutch jersey, the orange just moving up on the outside there. Lotte Kopecky is just managing this group at the moment, just setting her tempo on the front. Vollering attacks for the Netherlands. Demi Vollering makes a move. Straight with her is Elisa Longo Borghini. Ruby Roseman getting up there. Vollering keeping that tempo, but she hasn't managed to open a gap. Vollering, Kopecky, Longo Borghini, Lippert, Roseman Gannon digging in for Australia at the bottom, on the back of the group. Chloe Dygert still there for the USA. Vollering makes a move, but with her goes a significant group here. You can counter off the top of this one as she looks around.
Unfortunately for Vollering, all she's managed to do there is get rid of both of her teammates. So, of course, she needed to make a move there. She's clearly got really good legs, but unfortunately now Voss and Markus at the back. But also it's Lotte Kopecky's teammate.
Looking around, Kopecky will be confident in a sprint from this group. Chloe Dygert on the back. Ruby Roseman Gannon. Could it be a day for Australia? There's the makeup of your group. One from Belgium in Kopecky, one from the USA in Dygert, one from the Netherlands in Vollering, Italy, Longo Borghini, Australia with Ruby Roseman Gannon, and Germany for Liane Lippert. So now the numerical, it cancels itself out. The numerical advantage of the Netherlands is now gone. This group have got to work together. And will they? Because they're going to take Lotte Kopecky to the finish. Kopecky, I don't know about you both, but the way Lotte Kopecky is managing this group, the way she just managed those two climbs, it was almost like she was managing her energy in terms of recovering the weight, because she got distanced on the climbs. You could see, like a trackie in the elimination race, she was just kind of swinging in and out across the road on the climbs to just kind of close the door and almost give her time to recover in a way.
Yeah, I mean, she is a very clever bike rider, but, you know, as we said, when she was dropped originally, I thought, is she just playing this really clever and just managing her effort? But of course, she was significantly dropped there, so that wasn't on purpose that she was dropped by that amount. But as you say, the way that she manages a group to try and prevent other riders from going on the attack and, you know, just blocking them in, everything, you know, it's all above board what she does, but it is very clever the way that she positions herself on the road and helps to kind of bring the race in towards her advantage.
Seven and a half kilometres to go, and Chloe Dygert from the USA just trying to get back on to the group. It's Lotte Kopecky, the defending champion here from Belgium, that is on the front. And what a group we have now heading back in towards Zurich at the end of what has been an absolute thriller of an Elite Women's World Road Race Championship title. Last year it was Lotte Kopecky from Demi Vollering, Cecily Uttrup Ludwig were our medalists. Rihanna Markus and Justine Dygert trying to get back on, as is Marianne Vos. Dygert on the descent is losing a bit of distance, the American.
Yeah, the ride is just coming towards the bottom of the descent here, and then we have the final short little kick up, just under a kilometre in length, but that is the last bit of elevation that we have on today's course.
Kopecky, Lippert, Rihanna Lippert has been close in the Worlds before. Could it be her day? Elisa Longo Borghini, medalist, never the champ. Could it be her day? Demi Vollering will be looking to try and take this one as she attacks down the left, and with her goes Ruby Rose McGannon, who's been playing the absolute sprinter joker card today.
Kopecky very wise with that move, sliding straight onto the wheel there. Not letting Vollering getting any daylight whatsoever. Still Cleverly Dygert trying to get back on here, still battling away. Still Elisa Longo Borghini at the back of this group. I can't help but feel that Longo Borghini is just really quietly biding her time here, despite the change in the composition of this group and that we're not having that Dutch-Belgian battle that we had a couple of kilometres ago with the numbers. Still Longo Borghini just being in, the perfect position here to see exactly what's going on, following the wheels, letting the riders attack each other and just biding her time. Forced to close the gap here though. Ruby Rose McGannon just struggling to hold the wheel there, really struggling for the first time today.
Ruby Rose McGannon, 2 professional wins, 1 national title, which is just starting to get dropped at the back end of this one. Ruby Rose McGannon has done everything that she can in this race today to be there and in a position to sprint. Chloe Dygert just on the back is having to time trial away. You can see just how the revs that she's pulling here to try and get on. Elisa Longo Borghini now goes, the Italian, the blue jersey of Italy, and Elisa Longo Borghini throws in the big power, and Demi Vollering looks at Kopecky, Kopecky looks at Vollering, and Lippert looks at both of them, and Elisa Longo Borghini powering clear and has opened 100 metres now over those 3 chasers.
This is where game theory plays out in real life, isn't it? And this could be the winning move here in the women's elite road race. This is very similar to what we saw in the Olympic Games, where Kristen Faulkner went on the attack. But Demi Vollering taking it into her own hands now, chasing down Elisa Longo Borghini.
46 pro wins. Elisa Longo Borghini has been an incredible year for the Italian. That Giro d'Italia general classification victory, and you can see Demi Vollering is having to work hard to drag this group back to them. But how long will she do this before she starts to look around for some assistance? And she is gradually reeling them in.
Liana Lippert just losing the wheel at Demi Vollering now.
Vollering, big glance back over the shoulder. She got daylight, shifts up into a bigger gear. Liana Lippert holding, just holding. Kopecky's going to have to come through here. Lippert flicks the elbow. Lotte Kopecky's going to have to bring them back. Demi Vollering, after all of that work done here by the Netherlands, she's closing, but Elisa Longo Borghini still holding the gap here very slightly.
Kopecky really gambling there that Liana Lippert was going to be able to close that gap, just leaving it right until the last moment to come to the front herself. Looks like she will close that gap, but very keen to let Lippert do the work while she could.
Demi Vollering, you can see Elisa Longo Borghini, the gap is closing, almost there, but Longo Borghini just keeping that power on. What do you do here if you're Liana Lippert on the back? You're going to gamble, or do you go if you've got any legs left? It's back together, 3.8 kilometres to go. How much are all of these repeated efforts, though, taking out of the legs of Demi Vollering? Because you can look at the pain etched on the face of the Dutch rider.
She certainly can. She's now back up to the wheel of Longo Borghini. Tiny, tiny gap to Lotte Kopecky, but that will close. Liana Lippert able to follow the wheel of Kopecky. Of course, she's the one that lost the wheel of Demi Vollering when Vollering was trying to chase down the attack of Longo Borghini. But Liana Lippert still very much there, has got a good sprint on her, and now just biding her time, letting Demi Vollering, being the rider, doing the driving on the front now with 3K to go.
Everyone just getting rid of the bottles to the side. 2.8 kilometres to go now to the finish. Is the title going to the Netherlands? Is it going to Italy? Is it going to Belgium? Or is it going to Germany with Liana Lippert, her best World Championship finish, 4th in 2022, 5th in 2020. Demi Vollering shaking out the legs here. Longo Borghini, Kopecky, can she defend the title here for Belgium? And Liana Lippert looking to take her first title here for Germany, if she can. In the bottom of your picture, Ruby Rosemann-Gannon and Chloe Dygert trying to ride themselves back on here. They'll just be hoping that they start to mess around at the front and look at each other.
Yeah, well, they're not out of it at all, because all it will take is a tiny bit of hesitation from this front group as we just go through 2K to go, and suddenly that gap could come tumbling down.
Could indeed. Is Elisa Longo Borghini going to go for a long one here? You have those little tells from Elisa Longo Borghini. Kopecky looks around at Longo Borghini. Where are Rosemann-Gannon and Dygert? There they are in the background. Liana Lippert leading on the front here. They're looking for the Flamme Rouge. Vollering trying to encourage Lotte Kopecky through to the front. We've seen these two fighting it out multiple times in sprint finishes. Dygert and Rosemann-Gannon, if they get on, you would just take an absolute flyer and launch yourself over the top if they ride themselves back into contention with 1.5 kilometres to go.
So tense at the moment. You can see all the runners looking over their shoulders here, trying to see exactly where Chloe Dygert and Ruby Rosemann-Gannon are. Just going different sides of that island in the middle of the road there, but still Chloe Dygert pushing on, and they're going to close this gap.
They are indeed. Chloe Dygert and Ruby Rosemann-Gannon. Are they going to get back on here? It looks like they are. Demi Vollering on the front drives it towards the Flamme Rouge. Kopecky right in the wheel. Ruby Rosemann-Gannon getting the perfect lead out back onto the group here. Demi Vollering trying to encourage everyone through to the front. It is 1 kilometre to go here in the Elite Women's Road Race World Championship. Vollering, Kopecky, Lippert, Elisa Longo Borghini, Chloe Dygert and Ruby Rosemann-Gannon get themselves back in here as Ruby Rosemann-Gannon goes for a long one and makes the move here for Australia. Demi Vollering gets in on the wheel. Rosemann-Gannon swings across to the other side of the road. Dygert, Longo Borghini right on the back. Kopecky takes a big glance back over the shoulder. The Aussie made the bold move, got back on, puts the anchors out, lines it up. Your order to sprint for the line. Vollering now is going to have to lead this one out. Elisa Longo Borghini poised and ready on the back. Liana Lippert hands on the drops for the German. Chloe Dygert from the USA. This should be a really measured sprint in this one. Is it going to be Kopecky that defends the title? We are through 300 metres to go as Elisa Longo Borghini starts to make the move here. Demi Vollering on the front. Kopecky, the power from Kopecky. It's Kopecky, Vollering, Longo Borghini, Kopecky through the centre. Dygert closing, but Lotte Kopecky is going to defend the title for Belgium. Lotte Kopecky, an absolute monster of a ride from the Belgian. She defends the rainbow jersey in absolute fashion. Perfection from Lotte Kopecky to defend the world title.
Holy moly, that was a race and a half, wasn't it? Absolutely incredible. That race had a little bit of everything. But the big favourite for today, Lotte Kopecky, defending her championship. And what a way to do it.
What a race. And do you know what? Growing up, my dad always said to me, whenever we went to races, he's like, you win it in the last 100 metres. And you look at the way Lotte Kopecky has ridden this race today, on the back foot, dropped back in there, the way she managed those last climbs as well, absolute perfection.
Yes, well, she was willing to lose the race to win the race. You could see her weight let other riders do the chasing when they needed to. Then when it came to the crucial moment, winning that sprint from that small group at the end.
We'll have a lie down in the dark room after that one. That was amazing. What can we say as well about Ruby Roseman-Gannon today? That was a career ride from the Aussie.
It was a really fantastic ride, and we could see her get back onto the front group with the assistance of Chloe Dygert, who we're just seeing here. Huge, huge effort. Looks like a little bit of pain with that left quad currently.
And we do, you know, Chloe, we have to sort of put that into perspective as well. The recovery there, and the injury that she had to her left thigh, and she does have those issues, especially on really cold days like this. But Lotte Kopecky, and you've got to say as well for Justine Herrera, the team ride today from Justine.
Yeah, a real, standout season for Justine this year, individually for her, but, the assistance for Kopecky in this race as well, absolutely crucial.
Take us through the sprint, Joe.
Yes, it was Longo Borghini that went first, and you can see Lotte Kopecky was just looking around, poised and ready. Kopecky was wise to the move of Longo Borghini. Chloe Dygert's the only one that really even gets within a bike length of Kopecky, but clear win at the end there. Lunged for the line for the bronze medal.
Looks like another bronze from Elisa Longo Borghini.
Very smart riding there from Kopecky, just waiting for somebody else to launch the sprint, knowing that she's the fastest here, but the patience being key.
Yeah, silver for Chloe Dygert for the USA, but you could say our defending champion, Lotte Kopecky, is your world champion. Our next group's coming home, led in here by Noemi Rook of Switzerland with Blanca Vass of Hungary. Comes in. And the day belongs to Belgium. To come back and win with such panache, you would say there's such calm confidence as well for Kopecky.
Yeah, it was how confident she was, having been, I was going to say gapped, but if we're really honest, dropped on that climb about, halfway around the course.
Is that what we got to count our under 23s in? It looks like Pop Peters has got her hand up there. Apologies for missing out on the excitement of our finish there. Our under 23 champion, it looks like Put Peterson has come in that group. She had her hand up there, so that looks like our under 23 champion. But Belgium, they came in with a team utterly dedicated to Lotte Kopecky, and that's what it looks like. Justine in those breakaways, the job that the rest of the team did throughout the day. And there you have it, your top 10 looks like this. Lotte Kopecky takes the world title for the second time in 2 years. Chloe Dygert for the USA takes silver. Elisa Longo Borghini takes the bronze with Lippert, Vollering, Roseman-Gannon, Herrera, Vos, Markus and Vass, your top 10. Happy days all round for Belgium. And the delight in that one, 48th pro win at our group. That race today, though, Joe, was just a lesson yet again in never giving up. Ruby Roseman-Gannon, Chloe Dygert, the way Lotte Kopecky was dropped and got back on as well. That's always that thing, isn't it? You race, go to never give up.
Yeah, managing her effort as well. So I feel like Kopecky knew she wasn't within herself on that climb when she did get gapped. But she managed to pace herself back. There was an element of luck involved with a bit of easing up in the front group, but it's that whole being willing to lose the race in order to win the race is key.
I'm looking forward to the post-race interview because she has loved being in that rainbow jersey this year, and she gets to do it again for another year.
She certainly does. So first rider to defend the world title since Marianne Vos, doing the double in 2012 and 2013. And of course, with all the pressures on her, it's very different coming into World Championships as the defending champion. There's going to be so much more media attention around you, so many more interviews, so much more expectation. Here's the sprint for the bronze medal, though.
Yeah, Lisa Longo Borghini, another standout ride, another fourth for Liana Lippert, unfortunately. But Liana Lippert, again, we said right at the beginning of the day that we needed to keep an eye on her today. Chloe Dygert just trying to recover. She gets a lot of, when we see her after these sort of days, these sort of efforts, the muscle spasm that she gets from the injury to that left leg. You know, it was a life-altering crash that she had in Imola. The way she's fought back, you know, and each injury that she goes through, and the sort of the issues that injury. I mean, she sliced through her quadriceps, and you can see that the muscle spasm that she gets, which makes her rides even more remarkable as well.
It certainly does. So you can see members of staff here from the USA cycling team just assisting her, putting the towel over the leg there, trying to warm it up as well.
And a tough day out in the rain. And I think that the conditions that the riders dealt with today just makes Lotte Kopecky an even more worthy champion. Here she is.
For the second consecutive year. Well, tell us what's going through your mind right now. There's a big smile on your face when you pass the line, and astonishment.
Yeah, it was kind of disbelief, but yeah, first of all, I want to bring my condolences to the family of Muriel. I think also the minute of silence at the start, seeing the Swiss riders crying is something you just don't want to see, and yeah, I think it's a very hard moment for them as well.
It's a title for you, it's a title for her as well.
Yes, you can say that.
Take us through the race. It's the victory of your legs, of course. It's also the victory of your mind and your head.
Yeah, for sure, one of my head. Yeah, it was a really annoying day because it was raining, it was not warm, but on the climbs it was warm, and then in the downhill you got so cold, and yeah, I was from 3 laps from the end, I was actually freezing. But then yeah, I tried to get my head as cool as possible, and on the steeper climb I didn't have any troubles, but then the longer one, on the final time when Demi went, I had some difficulties. But I just tried to stay my own pace and come back at my own pace, and then in the end it was just a lot of mind games, and then it's just trying to stay as cool as possible, and to use your energy at the right moment.
And that last sprint, you knew you had the advantage?
Yeah, well, the Australian rider came from the back with speed, and then Demi reacted immediately, which was perfect for me.
Congratulations. Enjoy the podium. Thanks.
Great to hear from our world champion. And as Lotte mentioned there, very much Muriel Fura in our thoughts at the end of and throughout the championships, and always young Swiss rider. Lotte Kopecky sprinting in there, as she said, very much a victory of the mind, which shows just how important as well the psychology and the self-belief that you have to have at this level.
Certainly is. Confidence ever so important. Not overconfidence to the point of arrogance, but confidence enough in your ability, your tactics, your decision making out on the road. And as Danny Christner said earlier, she's such a smart bike racer. She is of course incredibly experienced, but also she's experienced at going into races as the favourite, and you can't underestimate the difference it makes going in as an underdog and being able to follow wheels and not marked out, to going in as a favourite. She's had that rainbow jersey on her shoulders for more than a year now. It's been more than a year since the last World Championships in Glasgow, and she's certainly not had that curse of the rainbow jersey. She's delivered really well, and now delivered again.
But also, as she was talking about, and we saw riders jackets on, jackets off, gloves, overshoes, arm warmers, everything, and just trying to manage that body temperature today, because that can win and lose you a title as well.
Yeah, it's really tricky. We have the wind chill factor in cycling that you don't have if you're going out for a run or something. It's very different to some other sports in terms of getting your clothing right. And we did see her go back to the team car a couple of times, but in the end, no problem at all.
we will do our best here to try and compact that down into some highlights for you. And we started today with the Swiss team on the front, and a minute's silence observed after there's such tragic passing of Muriel Furrer, our 18-year-old Swiss rider, who tragically passed away yesterday morning after the injury sustained in a crash in the junior women's road race. And the Swiss riders today, you've got to say, to be here, to be racing, and also to put on the show that they did in the circumstances, incredible. As Lotte Kopecky said in her post-race interview, all of the riders were riding today with Muriel in their hearts and minds. It was Nee Fisher-Black that went on the attack here with 100 kilometres to go. She was followed by a small group of riders. Paulina Royakkers pulling the group back up to the front group. Dani Vollering on the wheel. Royakkers doing an incredible team role today for the Netherlands. 54 kilometres to go. Third passage of the finish line, still very much in control, the team of the Netherlands. Around 42 kilometres to go. Markus taking advantage of a moment of lull to attack. And she was joined at the front by Justine Geerde from Belgium. Behind, Marina Vos coming across the gap in the orange of Netherlands, joined by Ruby Roseman Gannon at the front. They went through one lap.